So employment discrimination is still very real. Forbes magazine did an article on how hiring discrimination has not improved in the last 30 years for blacks and Hispanics. It hasn't improved. So I want to talk about that. And I also want to give you some tips, the best things I can offer to you for anyone watching this video who feel that this might be speaking to you. So Forbes magazine did an article, and I'm going to be clicking on my screen here as I go through it, right? So hiring discrimination is a rampant problem in America's workplace, one that's barely improved in the past 30 years. But though qualified blacks and Hispanics have a hard time getting called in for interviews, the problems don't ease once they meet in person with the hiring managers. In fact, the further along candidates get in the hiring process, the more likely they are to encounter some form of discrimination. And one of the things that comes up is always a focus on culture fit can hurt black and Hispanic candidates, the culture fit, right? So one of the companies that I worked for in leadership, when I went to visit the headquarters, the corporate office, I found that I didn't see many, I didn't see many blacks or obvious Hispanics at that location at all. It was a suit and tie environment. I did the interview. Of course, I did not get the job. And I'm not saying this because I'm black. I didn't get the job. It could have been maybe I just wasn't qualified. But I will say I was looking to see, was I a fit for that? Was I a fit? I always look at the culture. And looking around the office, when I didn't see guys that looked like me, I immediately knew that I was not a fit for the culture of that atmosphere. Right? And it's unfortunate. Right? And this is why I always advocate being an entrepreneur and having your own business or having your own side hustle that you could fall back on to make up that difference in pay. And I'm going to substantiate that shortly. I'm going to read further into this, right? So for one, let me scroll down to this chart, right? Where they talk about pay, right? Okay, so your race has an enormous impact on your chance of an employer being willing to even consider you for a job. There are a number of implications. Fewer callbacks mean lower chances of finding a job. If many employers are willing to discriminate in considering one for a job, you might reasonably wonder if compensation offers will be equivalent on average, right? So that means that when they do hire you, you're not going to get paid what the next guy is getting paid, right? Fewer callbacks likely translated to fewer offers give an applicant fewer choices to find the best available job. And this is even with a degree. The highest degrees, right? You can go for finance, it doesn't matter. Engineering, you're going to find this. All right, fewer offers mean less leverage in negotiations because you have fewer options, right? So if you're black or Latino, you have to work harder just to get an interview, even if you're well qualified as a white candidate, right? And it's just the way it is. I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. I'm not trying to call anyone out. Listen, this is the reality of the world. Right. And now more with this situation that we're in, the climate that we're in, employers can even discriminate even more because it's an employer's market right now. Employers have the upper hand. Right now, you hear everyone complaining that they are feeling the pinch of not making ends meet. So if you're black or Hispanic, I mean, obviously black or Hispanic, because we do know you do have some Hispanics that identify as white and they can pass for white. And some of them may their last names give them away. But I used to work with this woman. I won't say what her last name. I mean, I won't say her first name. Her last name was Nash, and she was from Ecuador, but she was a negrita. She was a black Ecuadorian, but she had this white last name. So we were talking one time, and she told me, she said, I'm going to share something with you, Mitch. Yeah, because I was curious about her last name. She said my last name was very ethnic. Everyone knew I was Hispanic, and then when I get there in person, I'm this black woman. So she said, I felt like I had two strikes against me. So she married this white guy telling me this. So this poor guy probably don't even know this. She married this white guy for the sake of getting his last name. And she was able to move up in corporate America because that last name fooled people, right? But then she got there in person. She had the opportunity to sell herself. And the thing about her, if you see her, she looked like she had very fine features, like thin chiseled features, but she had the dark skin. She had the black skin, the dark brown skin of a black woman, but she had the hair texture of what we would call Hispanic. So she had a lot going on, And I don't mean that to insult her, but she was able to sell herself, right? she will get asked that question, what are you? Immediately, people are going to wonder, what is she? And who knows what she did on the interview? Of course, people can't ask that on the interview, but that probably worked for advantage, where they're like, I don't know what she is. I don't know if she's Latino or black. I don't know what she's Indian. I don't know what. So she was able to use that to her advantage, but not a lot of us don't have that luck, right? For a lot of us that are obviously black, because you do have mixed black people that actually can pass for white too, or they can pass for something other. They can pass for Indian or Arab, but they don't have that problem, right? But for us that are obviously black or Hispanic, we run into this problem, right? Or have come into this problem, right? Or this obstacle. So this is some of the data from job offers, right? And salaries on based on degrees, right? So this is from a 4-year college, right? I have a bachelor's in business, right? And I can say it has worked to my advantage, but I do know that I would probably been paid a lot more, right? Had I been different, right? So the average black person with a 4-year degree, national average, they're going to make maybe like between $50,000 to $55,000 with a bachelor's degree. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Statistics shows that a white woman with no degree makes the same thing as a black man with a 4-year degree. So that means a white woman who's a high school graduate makes $50,000 to $50,000, where it takes a black guy to have a bachelor's to make that same money, right? So then Hispanics now, with a bachelor's degree, they get anywhere from 65 to 70K range. So they're making, more, about 10K more than a black person with a degree, right? They're getting 65 to 70K. Asian, they're getting anywhere from 90 to 95K. White Americans are getting anywhere from 95 to 100K. So you really see the difference here, right? So if you're black, you're getting 50 to 55K with a bachelor's, where a white person is getting 90 to 95K. That's a $40,000 difference. A $40,000 difference, right? For Hispanic, that's a $30,000 difference, right? So, it is what it is, It is what it is. I'm not really one to cry over this stuff. It is what it is. That's why I advocate that this data is the proof that you should have your own business or partner up with someone else that's ambitious. If you're not the business type person, you don't have the mind for it, that doesn't stop you from investing in someone else and becoming a partner with them, right? Like my dad had his own flooring company for a long time, right? And it was him and his cousin partnered up. They had a third person with them that didn't really have the skill, but he had the capital, right? So this is a 3-way partnership that they had. Get into something. Now, if you follow my channel, I will tell you exactly how to start today, how to get into something that's going to pay you maybe a good $500 a day, $500 a week, $1,000 a week, a good $2,000 extra a month, right? For some people, depends on where you live, that's great money. If you're going to have a 9-to-5 job, have a side hustle. You can find the time. You can either do this after work. You can do this on the weekends. You can set aside a Saturday or every other Saturday or every other Sunday, right? To put in 8 hours to do a side hustle. That's going to bring you in at least give you that confidence that if things go belly up with your job we all know that minorities are the last hired, first fired. So you want to have something in place that you can fall back on. You really do. So, like this video, please share, subscribe, and comment. My name is Mitch, by the way. If people don't know, I'm a multi-unit real estate investor. I'm a finance instructor. I'm a personal development coach, and I'm also an Amazon best-selling author. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video.